Okay, let me ask you something. Are you ready to change the world? Wait, we can do better than that. I know we can. Let me ask that again. Are you ready to change the world? Yeah! I love it. Do you believe you can? Good. Over the next few minutes, Al and I are going to share something with you that I believe could change your life. Did you ever dream as a kid, growing up, that have dreams as a child, what your life would be like? Is your life like you dreamed it would be? We all know that children grow up with dreams, but did you know that somewhere between the age of 20 and 30, most of us stop dreaming and we just start settling? You know, we were at a convention just like this 7 years ago. I'll never forget it. We were sitting right over there. And Allan and I started dreaming again in our mid-40s. I was a busy homeschool mother of 6 children. Allan was in construction. He was working a lot. I hardly ever saw him, and he was stressed out. You know, after these products transformed my life 15 years earlier, we sat there wondering, could this be the solution for us? Could this be a career we could be passionate about? Could this be something where we felt purpose-driven? Could it give us time freedom and more quality time as a family? Could it bring us closer together as a couple? Now that we have the new product. Okay, I won't go any further. Could we build a lasting legacy where we could pass it down to our children and our children could pass it down to their children? Could this be the vehicle that could change our lives forever? You know, we made a big decision at that event. Did you know big decisions are made at big destination events just like this one? You know, we left that convention and we went all in. We went home and we developed a plan of action. We wrote on whiteboards and we made short-term sacrifices for long-term vision. I remember just like the other week, I was sitting on the couch with my son, Braden. He was watching some popular TV show. I was asking him about the TV show. And he's like, "You've never seen this, Mom?" And asked me about other TV shows. You guys, I don't even know how to work a TV remote. And the weird part is I'm kind of proud of it. Anyways, and so he asked me why. And I'm like, "Braden, you know, when we first started our Neo-Life business, Dad asked me, I need 5 years out of you, Nicole. I need you to focus. I need you to make lots of sacrifices. 5 years. Can you do that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, put me in, coach." And so anyways, and he just sat there and pondered, "Mom, but wait, it's been more than 5 years." I'm like, "You're right, Braden, because Dad and I had bigger dreams, bigger goals, and a bigger vision." You know, after starting our Neo-Life business, 16 months later, we ended up going full-time doing Neo-Life, and it's been incredible. And it's amazing. The community, as you already know, we have an amazing community of friends and support. We have an accountability to our own health, which I love. We have time freedom. We have incredible income. We have purpose. We get to do meaningful work, and we get to live anywhere we want, as long as there's good Wi-Fi, right? That's important. Very important. And so, anyways, yeah, this business has been incredible. But you know what? Al and I, we were talking the other day and asking ourselves, why is it that some people don't see what we saw? Why is it that some people, you know, don't make short-term sacrifices for long-term gain? Why is it that some people don't go all in? Why is it that, you know, some people from last year's convention don't come back this year? And you know what I'm talking about. And why is it that some people just abandon their dreams and plain out quit? And the answer became clear to us. It's not because the products aren't the best. It's not because the compensation plan doesn't work. 64 years and counting with several $billion paid out to promoters. And it's not because this industry doesn't work. It's nearly a $200 billion industry. It's not because they don't have access to the same tools. And it's not because they don't have the same 24 hours in a day. It's one simple reason. It's because they didn't believe. Either they didn't believe it was worth it, or they didn't believe they could do it. And Allan and I are here to tell you today that it is worth it, and you can do it. Isn't that right, babe?
That's absolutely right. I want to ask you a question. Have you ever taken the time just to sit there and think about, where is my belief level that you, and each of you in this room, that I know that I can succeed at building a neo-life business? Not the little, I'm going to be realistic, like build and achieve, like Ashley said, your dreams with a neo-life business. Have you thought about it on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 to 100, however you want to measure it? This is a little scale of levels of belief that I created, and I'm going to assume that when you walked in the room this morning, everybody, would fall somewhere on this scale, each one of us, right? I'm going to assume that nobody in this room is in the lowest category of belief, which is it's impossible to build a neo-life business, or you wouldn't be here. And I know for a fact there's plenty of people in this room that it's at the highest level of belief when they walked in the doors this morning, which is it's inevitable. It is going to happen. We're not there yet, but it's inevitably going to happen. And for everybody else that doesn't fall into that highest category, you're somewhere in the middle. It's either you're feeling like it's improbable that you will, but it's possible, but not likely, or that it's possible, 50-50, or that it's probable. It's not inevitable, but it's probably going to happen. Has anybody's belief grown a little bit, at least over the course of the day? Yes or yes? The really cool part about belief is that it can grow. How do I go back? There we go. It can grow. As we take action, our belief, we get results eventually. Like Ashley said, you can't do this forever and not succeed and figure out how to win. So we get results, positive results, and then our belief grows, right? Someone might have 100 pounds to lose. They may not believe they can lose 100 pounds. They've tried 100 times before until they lose their first 5 pounds with Neo-Life. Then can they believe, is their belief higher they can lose 10, and then 20, and then 50, and a 50, why not 100 if they have that to lose? Once you sign up your first club member, like Jamie Summers showed so well, aren't you more likely to believe you could sign up 3 and get your products for free? Of course. How about promoters? Once you become a director and you found one other director, aren't you more likely to believe that you could find 3? And if 3, why not 6? And a solid full-time 6-figure income at that. And if 6, why not 18 and be a 5 diamond? Like we don't have any of here in North America yet. Why not? Belief, when I think about this, I'm like, belief is so powerful. It is everything, in everything, really. It affects our vision, it affects our actions, and this is not just in the business, it's in every aspect of our life. The really cool part is belief can grow. Sorry, you're supposed to see that. Okay, I'm figuring this out. Belief can grow. When I think about belief, I think of many stories. Everyone's probably heard the 4-minute mile story. It's a real story, it's history. Nobody believed it was humanly possible, physiologically impossible for a human to run a mile in under 4 minutes. For hundreds of years, for thousands of years probably, until one man did it in 1954. And did you know that almost 400 people did it in the 10 years that followed? That's almost one every 10 days on average. Belief. But my favorite story about belief, Kyle Menard. Born with congenital amputation, at 7th grade decided he wanted to wrestle. His parents supported it. He wrestled. He went out and lost. People told him, Kyle, what is a kid doing with no arms and legs? Wrestling. You cannot win a match. He believed it. Kept wrestling, losing. Asked his parents to quit. Parents said no, keep wrestling. Finished somehow, after 35 straight losses, he won a match. His belief changed. In 8th grade, undefeated. In high school, 135 wins, went to nationals and took 12th place in the nation. Kyle said, it was never an issue with my body. Ever, obviously. It was an issue with my belief. And our belief affects our vision. The vision we caught 7 years ago in a convention just like this in 2015 that launched us into building this business wasn't a vision of selling vitamins, although it's part of it. It wasn't even a vision of an incredible full-time six-figure income 16 months later and president's team 5 years later. It was a vision, listen to me, this was my vision, our vision, of Neolife, thanks to you, Josh Clark, becoming the #1 personal growth and leadership company in the world. And my vision hasn't changed. I'll say it another way. Neolife, my vision was Neolife becoming this global force in what we love to call, thanks to you, Chad Johnson, the life transformation business. It's so much more than nutrition. Transforming people's health, of course. Transforming their wealth, their marriage, their relationships, their communication skills, and their communities for generations to come. That was the vision I caught. And I believed, and Nicole believed, that it was worth believing in, making sacrifices for this vision that we still have today, because that hasn't fully been realized yet and won't for a few more years. Let me ask you, what is your vision? Is it just to sell vitamins? Is it just health? Is it just to help people make a few extra bucks? All those are wonderful visions, but it can be so much more than that. You know, Tony Robbins said something I thought was profound. At first I thought it was wrong until I thought about it. He said, people aren't lazy. I'm like, yeah, they are. But they're not. Listen, he said, people aren't lazy. They just lack a big enough vision to move them to action. Let that sink in. You could say big enough vision, compelling enough vision. People aren't lazy. They just lack a compelling enough vision to move them to action. Is your vision big enough to move you to action? Everybody in this business that's building a Neolife business or intends to probably has a why that sounds good, probably feels good, and it's probably honest. You want to help people. You want to make some money, whatever the whys are. They're good. There's nothing wrong with them. But the question is, you have to ask, and I have to ask, is my why moving me to action? Is it helping me get to where I need to go? Is it helping me really impact the lives on the scale I want to impact and go and get to where I want to go? On the screen here is a picture of St. Paul's Cathedral in London, England, as it looks today. In 1666, it burned down. So this is after it was rebuilt. At the time, they hired the most famous architect, Christopher Wren, to rebuild this beautiful structure. And one day, he walked on the job site, and the reason why I want to tell you the story is because vision is everything. It's everything. Ashley said it up here. If all you do is talk about the products, there's nothing wrong with that, but don't complain about not recruiting anybody in the business if you're not excited enough to talk about it. You know what I mean? So vision is everything. So he walks on the job site, Christopher Wren, back in the 1600s, and he says, he walks up to 3 different men, all bricklayers. They all had the same job. Do we not all have the same job? But we all have different visions, and we communicate them differently. So he comes on the job site, and he asks the first bricklayer, he said, what are you doing, sir? And the bricklayer says, I'm laying bricks to feed my family. That was his vision. He walks to the second bricklayer. What are you doing? I'm building a wall. He walks to the third bricklayer. What are you doing, sir? I am building a cathedral. Which one of those 3 men is more likely to recruit other bricklayers to do the exact same job? Probably the cathedral builder, but they're all bricklayers. So our vision really, really matters. Can I tell you for a minute what I believe about everybody in this room? Is that okay? I believe what Zig Ziglar said about you and me and each one of us, that you are designed for achievement. You are engineered for success, and you are endowed with the seeds of greatness. I believe that every single one of your life has meaning and purpose, and I believe that not one single person in here is in this room by accident. I believe you were born to win. I believe you were born to make an impact. But the question is, what do you believe? What's your vision for your life? Is it just to be like a thermometer and react to life's circumstances around you? To live and breathe and work and die and sleep and exist? Or is it to be like a thermostat that positively, hopefully, positively affects the environment around us? I hope it's the latter. I hope everyone in this room can commit to saying, no, I want to be a good steward of the gifts, the talents, the abilities that are unique to you. And I'm going to add one more. The opportunities that God has placed in your lap and my lap. It's been spoken of already. We have an opportunity. I mean, out of control inflation, heading into a recession. I mean, need I go on and on and on? People dying for community 2 years post-COVID. Everybody lacking, not everybody, many lacking purpose and meaning and just going through the motions. And we have a miracle in our mouth. How exciting is that? How exciting is that? You can't get overwhelmed by building a neo-life business. This could be overwhelming to someone who's not a builder, has never built one before. But you know how cathedrals are built? They're built the same way empires are built. They're the same way cities are built. They're the same way lasting marriages are built. They're the same way strong, healthy bodies are built. Brick by brick. Brick by brick. We've been laying bricks for 7 years, and not always very well. I think back to how we started. I'm like, I don't lay bricks like that anymore. I don't use that technique. I use different tools. I use different ways of laying the brick. But it didn't stop us. We laid the brick the best we knew how 7 years ago because we had a vision of building the #1 personal growth and leadership company in the world named Neolife, being a vehicle to change the world brick by brick. Health talks in living rooms. No Zooms, no Facebook groups. Didn't use social media. And we use social media, but not really to build the business. How about this? Brick by brick, man, we were doing health talks in the park with PowerPoint projectors back in the day. Health talks with our kids, brick by brick. We even had our kids presenting, brick by brick. That's how we did it. Again, wouldn't lay it the exact same way today, but that's what we did. Put Neolife on our cars, brick by brick. Neolife on our bodies and our kids' bodies, brick by brick. Gatherings of champions in dingy little dojos in Northeast California, Washington State, brick by brick. Got some Washington people here? All right. Nicole doing health talks on various products. This was the cleaners, I think. Doing booths at fairs and expos with and without our kids. Haven't done that for years, but that's what we did. 10-hour drive round trip to a college dormitory to do a presentation for a few females, college students that not one signed up, but we kept building brick by brick because we had the vision, doing health talks in little senior centers that grew into larger health talks in that same senior center that grew into larger health talks, but brick by brick that we outgrew the senior center and had to go to the civic center. Doing dream board nights with our local team back when we lived in Northeast Washington. We live in Nashville now, by the way. Doing social media posts, sometimes the way we do them today, and others we look at and we go, never do that again. But it didn't matter. We did the best we knew how with what we had, and it's worked okay so far. Doing business trainings in barns with some of them that aren't even in the business today. Didn't matter, brick by brick. Finally made it to Zooms. Thankful for that, and Facebook groups and all the ways we build today. Smaller retreats that grew into larger retreats, brick by brick. And I think about Lawrence and Marjorie Clark, who shared Neolife with us. Yes. They were on the stage, #3 president's team in all of North America here a minute ago. You want to know how they built the IPT in a few years? Somebody say it. You know. Hey, a construction worker, small business owner, and a homeschool mom, brick by brick. There was no social media. There was no cell phones. There was none of that. So how do you have conversations, the lifeblood of the business? Well, they did booths. How about their sponsors? Also here in the room, Aki Bird is anyway, Moss and Aki Bird. They also built a president's team. In fact, I think they built a diamond in like 8 years or something like that. How did they do it back in the 80s-ish? Brick by brick. And how about their sponsors, who are also in the room today? Ted and Marina Morrow, or Marina's here today with her son, Greg, and his wife, Polly. Diamonds, also President's team members. How do you think they got to President's team back in the 70s, early 80s? Brick by brick. That's Ted and Greg in London, England, I think, if I remember right. And how about their sponsor, which was Marina's mother, Irene Rader? How do you think she, at 50, just under 50 years old, in 1966, when she signed an application, that's how we used to do it, with paper and pencil or pen, and wrote on the application, I will not sell these vitamins, but I'll use them. How did she change her mind, obviously, because of the products, right? And build a President's team in the 60s and 70s? You got it, brick by brick. Okay, now let me tell you something else. People are going to say negative things. You need to know this before I run out of time. People are going to say negative things. Has anybody ever heard anything negative before? They are. I remember someone saying a friend of theirs was at a dinner thing and event, and they happened to be sitting next to former President Ronald Reagan, and they were so nervous they didn't know what to ask, and they're asked what they felt was a stupid question, like, how did you become president? And he's like, Mr. Ronald Reagan, President Reagan said, I listened to those who believed in me, and I listened to those who told me I could. He said, when I was in high school, I was a runt. And I said, I'm going to play high school football. And people said, you're a runt. You can't play high school football. He's like, I listened to those who believed in me. I listened to those who told me I could. He played high school football. And after that, he said, I was going to be a Hollywood actor, famous actor. Guess what people said? Some spoke negative. This is what he did. He listened to those who believed in him. After that, he said, I'm going to be governor of the state of California. Same thing. Negative people, I didn't listen to them, he said. I listened to those who believed in me. I listened to those who told me I could. Same thing when he ran for president and became one of the most influential presidents in U.S. history. It's not just Ronald Reagan's story. Anyone know Michael Jordan or the name? In high school, told he wasn't good enough for the varsity basketball team. Oprah Winfrey, fired as a TV reporter, said, get this, you're not fit for television. Do you know that? No, we only know the glory. We don't really know the stories so many times. Walt Disney, fired from a newspaper, said he lacked creativity, of all things. Interesting, huh? And we believe, see, words do matter and they do carry weight, but they only carry the weight that we assign to them. It didn't stop them because these people had a bigger vision, obviously. Elvis Presley, right up the road here at the Grand Ole Opry, got done performing, gets off the stage. The stage manager goes, hey, dude. I don't know if he said dude. He probably said, hey, y'all, come here. Listen, if you know what's good for you, you'll give up music and you'll go back to driving a truck after hearing you sing. Oop, excuse me. See, when you commit, let me go back. Let me tell you something. I want to share something with you that I meant to tell you this when I started, that can guarantee your success in this business. So wherever you are in your belief scale right now, I can guarantee, and you don't want you to listen to this, okay? Listen, this is really good. I could guarantee before you walk out the door right now, when we're done here, that you can be at inevitable belief. Inevitable, it is certain that I will build a successful Neo-Life business. Does that sound like a big claim? It is huge, and I'm going to deliver on it. Are you ready? I'll guarantee this. If you will commit to build your business until, not until it gets hard, not until you, figuratively speaking, get punched in the face and want to lay there and stick your thumb in your mouth and get in the fetal position and cry and go home because it's hard, not until that. If you will commit to persist until, as Ashley said, you achieve whatever it is you set out to achieve, whatever that vision is that you create. See, our belief affects our vision, and then our vision is going to affect our actions. But if you will commit until, I've got a quarter in my pocket. I don't know if I can get to it, the mic that's in there. Yeah, I can. Let me give you a visual to help drive this point home. I've got a quarter here. It's not a trick quarter, heads and tails. And I don't know if we have any mathematicians in the room, but obviously it's a 50% chance that I'd get heads if I flip it one time, right? Anybody know what the odds is that I could flip it 7 times in a row and get heads every time? It depends, but I'm going to tell you it's inevitable. If I flip until because I didn't put a timeline on it. I just said, what are the odds I could flip this thing and get seven, that I could flip it 7 times in a row and get heads all 7 times in a row? If I'm committed to doing it 7 times, the odds aren't that good. But if I'm committed to doing it until, it might take me 5 minutes, it might take me 5 hours, it might take me till midnight tonight. I don't really know the timeline, but I know as long as I'm breathing, I will get 7 in a row. And that is how you can walk out that door guaranteed. It's inevitable. You will succeed, and all of your wildest dreams and more can come true in this business if you will commit to flipping until. Are you limited to how many members you can sign up? Is anybody in here put a limit? Does Kendra put a limit on how many promoters we can join? But Allan, you don't understand. I've signed up 10 promoters, and none of them, not one, is doing anything. So, what if the first 10 bricks you lay crack, and are you going to quit? You keep laying until, and you will build an empire. You will build a cathedral. You will build, in this context, a lasting legacy business. It's inevitable. It's got to happen. It will. Christopher, the bricklayers went home when the bricklaying was done. The trades go home when the trade's done. I used to build homes. The home builders, the empire builders, the lasting legacy Neolife business builders, the cathedral builder, Christopher Wren, stays until the job is done. Especially when you've recruited 1 or more people that are counting on you because you said, let's go, I'm leading. By example, by serving, by showing, by doing, the discipleship type model. You stay until. Christopher Wren started that at age 30. He finished the project at age 70. He went until. How many of us have gone 40 years laying bricks and not got where we want to go and is ready to give up and quit and all that? Which leads me to another point. I got to speak to the people in the room that walked in that door this morning. Maybe not hitting your rank. Maybe you came in discouraged, dejected, feeling beat up, like embarrassed. Maybe even hiding your rank on your badge because you're not even where you used to be. Maybe you came in here with your tank on empty. Maybe you came in here, Nicole, asking, like one of those people Nicole and I were talking about, is it really worth it? Can I really do it? I got to come back one more time. Maybe this will be the time. I want to speak. Maybe you had trouble applauding for those on stage. I want to speak to you. Keep laying brick. Keep laying brick. You reset, you relaunch. That's what you do. New York was rebuilt upon New York. Chicago, rebuilt upon Chicago. Our bodies have trillions of cells. They die, they rebuild, they repel, reset, restore. You know what? You get off course in a relationship, you get off course in your health. What do? Throw it away? Or do you reset, refocus, and relaunch? It's what you do in this business. You reset, reset, reset. It's just the way it is. After the darkest night, what happens? It's dawned. The earth resets. What about after the harshest winter? The earth resets. It's spring. That's life. You've got to just reset and refocus, and keep laying brick like everybody that's gone before you. I used to think that successful people do something extraordinary. Sure, some people invent something or come up with some software, but most successful people I've learned, they don't. They just do ordinary things extraordinarily consistently. They keep laying brick. They do consistently, said another way, what ordinary people do occasionally. That's the difference. That's the game changer, which all ties back to our belief. So we'll flip and tell, and our vision. Is this making sense? In closing, I want you to know that you are building your stage story. You can call it whatever you want. I'm going to call it a stage story. Every one of us is we're still building our stage story. It has 3 parts. And you need to write this down because don't forget this. Part 1, the vision. Part 2, the struggle. Part 3, the victory. This is what we want. Big vision, little teeny struggle, big victory. Doesn't work that way. Did you know that? It doesn't work that way. What in life works that way except salvation? Everything worth having is hard. It is. Relationships are hard. Being healthy is hard. Maintaining your weight is hard. Building a business is hard. This business, no one said it was easy, but it's worth it. And you can do it. So, if you know they're equal parts and you sign up for a big vision, just be ready for a big struggle. Be ready for big growth, big attacks, big learning curve. If you think that Nicole and I never in 7 years, and Josh knows this, asked ourselves, is it really worth it? Can we really do this? And if you'd be wrong if you thought we didn't. And if you think that month after month after month for 7 years our business has gone like this, you'd also be wrong. But we kept our vision, and we knew if we flip and tell, it's inevitable. And we're able to refocus and reset and relaunch. And if you've set dreams and you've set a vision and you've failed, if that's you in the room and you're scared to do it again, think about Tesla. I mean, I love Tesla. I love my Tesla. I love the Tesla products. They were going to come out with the X model of a car in 2013. They came out in 2015. Did they fail? I mean, as a company, are they a failure? They're supposed to come out with the Cybertruck last year. Now they're saying next year that's a minimum of 2-year failure. Have the company failed? If you want to be encouraged, Google, one of the biggest companies in the world, Amazon failures. Amazon failures. Amazon Fire Phone lasted 6 months. I won't go through them all. Just Google it if you want to be encouraged. Nicole and I's goal was to be diamond in 5 years. We made IP President's Team in 5 years. We're still 2 steps away from diamond. And we've been doing it for 7. So let me ask you, did we fail? Or do we just reset, refocus, set new vision, same vision, but new goals, new timelines, and go again? So back to your story, it has 3 parts. If you have a big vision, you're going to have big struggles. And that's part of, it's a love-hate relationship, but it's what I love about this business. I have to grow. I have to grow. If I want to get to the other side, I have to go through this. I have to grow in my communication. I have to grow in my positivity. I have to grow in my mindset. These are things that don't come natural to Allan. And I love it, even though it's hard sometimes. And it's worth it. So take good notes in the struggle, because the bigger your struggle, the bigger the applause when you're coming across the stage next year, right? The bigger your struggle, the bigger you inspire everyone in this room and around the globe thanks to social media and the internet. Isn't that right, Nicole? I'll invite her back up on the stage with me.
Okay. Yes, that's absolutely right. Big decisions happen at big destinations like this here in Nashville.
And my closing question to you is, are you ready to make a big decision before the sun sets tonight? Are you ready to make that decision? Because we can tell you, it is certainly worth it. And we both believe you can absolutely do it. Thank you.
Thank you.